Has concluded. The question is the House do now adjourn, and I call the member for New England.
Well, thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, if you break your arm, you can see it. You can explain how it happened. If you've got a heart condition, you can feel it. You can get it treated, get a stent, get a bypass. But, Mr Speaker, if you have a mental health condition, you hide it. You become self-conscious of it. There is a stigma attached to it. But there's one thing worse, and that is if you are unaware of it. Today, I'm not big, we all have to wear these badges, and generally I don't bother because there seems to be one a day, but this is incredibly important. In regards to youth suicide, and I want to deal with the stigma to start off with. If you feel that it's a stigma, then it's the same stigma that Gandhi had, that John F. Kennedy had, that Abraham Lincoln had, that General Grant had, that Winston Churchill had. It's a stigma that channeled in the right direction, as they said about General Grant, who was vastly better in war than he ever was as a president. There is a downside, though, Mr Speaker, and that is suicide. The most dangerous person that you're likely to see in your life between the ages of 15 and 44 is in the mirror. If you live in regional areas, it's twice as bad again. If you're in an Aboriginal community, it's horrendous. What has to be noted amongst this is not so much, it's obviously for the people, but it's for the people left behind. The people left behind after the tragic occurrence that devastates families and stays like a pall over their lives for the rest of their lives, with even everybody who's associated with that family member who died. I always think about this, and I think about that alternate energy that comes for it, and I'm always attracted. I've one of my favourite sections, or my favourite readings with the Bible, in Corinthians 1, 10 to 15, verse 10, where it says, by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace, which was bestowed on me, was not in vain. But I laboured more abundantly than they all, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. I listen to that and I think of that positive energy that can go in such a good direction, but it's the same energy that can become the poison that destroys peoples. The poison that goes on to try and self-medicate, the poison that becomes that chaotic energy, heading in thousands of different directions at the same time, tearing apart all those who are somehow associated with you. Today, the end of youth suicide campaign, is a day we must reflect on the work done by Lifeline, by Beyond Blue, by Headspace, by the Black Dog Institute, by the Butterfly Foundation. In that area of mental health, it also encompasses such things as anorexia, which unfortunately I've also had, not myself, but those very close to me, who have had to deal with these issues. But today, most pertinently, and I will not be mentioning their name, I have a good mate and a wonderful family who've had to deal in the last week with this tragedy. And, Mr Speaker, I'll write a letter when I can work out what to say. When I can work out what to say to this family. When you think about it, it is so pertinent that we should be acknowledging this day and trying to do something about this scourge. Twice as likely as having a car accident. In Australia, 3 times as likely as dying from COVID is suicide. So I want to acknowledge all those who work, like Professor Parker, whose diligent efforts in this area have done so much to the psychologists and the psychiatrists. But on a day like today, I want to wish and offer my deepest condolences and sympathies and prayers and hope to all those families who are dealing day after day, every night, every moment with the tragedy of suicide within their family.